Morning, physics students. Today we're going to be working on that classroom problem with the elevator journey. So I'm going to be graphing that question as I go through it to help you visually see how we get to the answer. So the question wants us to figure out what is the total distance this person travels while they're in the elevator and their displacement. So we're going to put both those on a graph. So, okay, so we start off on the first floor. All right. So our total distance at the beginning is 0, and our displacement at the beginning is 0. So when we go up to the 8th floor, we got to subtract 8 from 1. So 8 minus 1 is 7. All right. So that means at minute 1, we have now gone up to 7. Use my little annotating tool here. So we're up to 7. Okay. And then the second minute, we go down to the 5th floor. Okay. So for distance, we got to think about, okay, they're traveling more, right? Even though they're going down, that's just more movement of the elevator. So there's 3 floors between the 8th floor and the 5th floor, because 8 minus 5 is 3. So that means we have to add 3 more floors to our distance that we've traveled so far. So I'm going to add 7 plus 3 is 10. So by the second minute, we have now traveled a total distance of 10 floors or 10 feet. But when we're thinking about displacement, now that we're down to the 5th floor, the 5th floor is only 4 floors away from the 1st floor. So our displacement is actually now 4. Okay. All right. So in the 3rd minute, we go down to the 3rd floor. So for the distance, you've traveled another 2 floors. So we were at 10. Now we're up to 12. So, but for displacement, now we're at the 3rd floor, which is only now 2 floors away from where we started. Okay. So now the 3rd minute, we're only 2 floors away. So you could see our displacement is going down because we were starting at the 8th floor, and we're just, as we go back down, we're getting back closer to where we started from. So our displacement's going down. But since we're still traveling and the direction doesn't matter, the distance is still going up because we're still logging miles on the elevator, right? Like the pedometer of the elevator is still going up this whole time, but if we go up or down. All right, so let's keep going. So the 4th floor, we're up to the 6th floor now. So when we're thinking about the distance, we're at minute 3, we're at the 3rd floor. Now we're at the 6th floor. That's an increase of 3 more floors. So I'm going to add 3 to my distance. So that takes us from 12 to 15. That's about between 14 and 16 right there. And for displacement, we're at the 6th floor, which since we started at the 1st floor, 6 minus 1 is 5. So now I'm going back up to 5. So between 4 and 6 here. Okay. In the 5th minute, we go down to the 2nd floor. So before we were on the 6th floor, now we're on the 2nd floor. So 6 minus 2 is 4. That means we've increased our distance by 4 more floors, or 4 more floors. So let's go from 15 plus 4 is 15 plus 4 is 19. So that brings us between 18 and 20. And if now we're down to the 2nd floor displacement, we're just 1 floor away from where we started. So I'm putting us down at 1 right there between 0 and 2. Okay, and then finally we go on the last minute, the 6th minute, we're up to the 6th floor. So if we're going from the 2nd floor up to the 6th, that's 4 more floors. So we're going to climb by another 4. So 19 plus 4 is 23. 19 plus 4 is 23. That puts us right here. And then we're up to the 6th floor. That puts us 5 floors away from the bottom. So now we're at 5. So our distance kept rising that whole time, right? But our displacement, depending on the direction, it just looks at where we started or where we ended. So the displacement was going up and down and up and down, and ended up at 5 because our last point was at the 6th floor. So we just look at the beginning and look at the end, and we got 5. But our distance, we added to it the whole time. So to answer this question, the total distance we traveled was 23 floors, and the total displacement we traveled was 5 floors.